Hello everybody, my name is Cody and I'm here with the Emerald Coast Science Center, and today we're going to be talking about animal cells and plant cells, how they're different and how they can compare. So I have some pictures drawn of some cells. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, which one they are yet. I'm going to see if y'all can figure it out on yourselves. I'm going to go ahead and give some descriptions of them though. Alright, so I have two cells right here, right? 1, 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about plant cells first. So plant cells are cool. They have something, well, first off, both cells have a cell membrane, right? So both have, think of a cell membrane, think of membrane as your skin. So we have this skin, this is our cover that's going to protect us, keep all these nasty things from getting into our body, but we still let things get into our body. So it's kind of the same way, but with the cells. They have cell membranes, but something that's different is a plant cell will have a cell wall. And so whenever you see some leaves, if you ever like break a stem, you'll hear that crunch. That's the cell wall breaking. And it's made out of something called cellulose, which is very rigid sometimes. So a lot of times the plant cells will kind of have a cube kind of structure. They will have like a sharp ridges or ridges that are pretty prominent for you to see, while the animal cells will just be kind of round. They'll be round. They won't really have a definite shape. So after I said that, you can kind of see which one is the plant animal cell, right? So with the plant cell, it's usually square in shape. It's got a cell wall, so it's going to be rigid. So which one do you think it is? If you can go ahead and comment, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and write down which ones they are. So what is this one you think? If you thought this was the plant cell, oh, I'm not good at writing, sorry. Plant cell, you would be right. That's the plant cell. And then this one would be the animal cell, right? So you can see the cell wall right here, how it's real rigid, and it kind of helps give it that shape. There's also another thing that helps give the plant cells their shape. So along with this cell wall, you can see the cell wall on the outside. Along with that cell wall, they have something called a large central vacuole. And so that large vacuole is where they store all that water that it takes in, stores in all these nutrients. It's pretty much just a big storage facility, if you think about it, for that cell. And so this right here, this blue little big circle I drew, is the large central vacuole. And so whenever you see a plant that's it hasn't gotten fed a lot of water, it's kind of tilted over, right? It's not real strong and standing upright. What happens is it becomes dehydrated, and this large central vacuole will shrivel up, and then it'll cause the cell wall to kind of fold in. And so something I had to kind of demonstrate that, I have this cardboard box, which is going to be my cell wall, and then I have a balloon right here. This is my large central vacuole, right? And so I'm going to blow air into it, but I'm going to pretend it's water like this. And so whenever it's going to be flat like this, so the plant is wilted, whenever I blow air into it, it'll change. See that? See how it's nice and big and it blew up that cardboard around it? That's the cell wall. So whenever the large central vacuole fills up with water, it's going to allow the cells to get strong and upright, which allows that stem to keep going up into the sky to get that sunlight it needs, right? So that's a pretty cool demonstration of the vacuole right here. So animal cells also have vacuoles, but they're a lot smaller. They aren't used to store water as much, so they're not really used to. What I forgot to say actually is whenever it fills up, it's called Turgor pressure. So Turgor pressure is the pressure of that balloon filling up, pushing against that wall. They don't use Turgor pressure. They don't have that cell wall that's going to fill it up for them. So they're okay on their own. But inside of these cells, it's not just empty space. There's a bunch of organelles, which you can think of as organs for us. So we have organs that do a bunch of jobs. They have organelles inside their cells that do a bunch of stuff. And even in this white space, all this white space is filled with a fluid like gel called cytoplasm. So it's filled with cytoplasm. It's kind of squishy inside. And something that is similar with the animal plant cells is they have something called a nucleus. The nucleus kind of acts like the brain. It stores all the information, all the genetic information about those cells to determine what it's going to be like when it grows up, or when it's going to divide and produce more cells so it can replicate. So right here I have the nucleus, and then this dot is the nucleolus, which stores all the genetic information. It's got all that DNA in there, and that's where all of that's stored so it can be safe and kept tight so it doesn't get mixed around with other stuff. And so we talked about the large central vacuole. Something that's different with the plants than the animal cells. Plants are able to produce sugar through photosynthesis, right? So they are producers. They're able to produce their own food for the animals to eat later. But they have to produce food for themselves. So when they take in sunlight, they're going to use water from this central vacuole, right, where they store it. And right here, these green things are called the chloroplasts. And so they're going to absorb all that light, and then they're able to make sugar out of it. So it's pretty cool. They make sugar. They're like a little sugar workshop, which is cool. That gives it energy, right? And so animal cells don't do that. We don't photosynthesize, right? We eat food. We need cellular respiration is a really big part for us. So we have these mitochondria. I drew some circles right here. Plant cells also have mitochondria, but they usually use cellular respiration when they're little small seeds and they don't have the leaves. So whenever they have the leaves, they're able to produce sugar with their chloroplasts because they're green and stuff. They're able to absorb that light, right? But when they're just little tiny seeds, they will just use cellular respiration, which is used with the mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell, right? It gives it all its energy. And in the animal cells, it does that a lot. It breaks down ATP to produce energy, but that's a different topic. I can go into details of that, but I'm not going to. Anyway, so whenever the cells divide, they need all that information to leave that cell so it can break off. It leaves this kind of nucleus thing, and it'll start to divide into its own cell. And so right here I have the endoplasmic reticulum. You can see it on both sides, and that is kind of like a shootout of the nucleus. So all that information is in the nucleus. It starts to go into here where it's being sent out of the nucleus, and all these black dots, that's the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So there's the smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum, and that is where it's going to be adding all these peptide bonds. The ribosomes are going to add bonds to the two parts that are going to help build proteins. So they're going to help build proteins, which are going to leave the cells do their own job, which is really, really cool. So right here with the cell membrane, like I said, they're semi-permeable. They're only going to let a certain amount of stuff in there. And then also, something that's really cool is with the animal cells, we have something called a lysosome. And so the lysosome helps digest stuff. It helps break things down. Viruses and bacteria that have been engulfed by these macrophages, which are these big kind of cells that are able to swallow things, take it to the lysosome for it to be broken down, takes in nutrients or old organelles, so anything that gets old in here will go in there to be made new again, which is really, really cool, breaks down all that stuff. But something we're going to do is we talked a little bit about each. So we're going to see, if y'all are listening, we're going to play a little game to see if we can find the differences in the animal cells and the plant cells. So what we can do is we can start that up now. This will be pretty fun. just a second. So we're going to play a quick game. There we go. Alright, so hopefully you were listening because we were about to play a game. It was pretty fun. There he goes. I hear it starting to run now. Alright. So this game is called Sort It Out. And we are going to have, once it displays on the ground, you'll be able to see what's going to happen. Alright, so over here, I have the plant portion of it, the animal portion's over here on this side, and then both is over here. So this is where all the organelles that are in both animal and plant cells is going to go. Animal cells is over here, plant cells is over here. Let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to be taking my time, so hopefully y'all are able to guess as well. So let's go ahead and pick one. I'll go ahead and pick cytoplasm. So I have cytoplasm here. Cytoplasm is what I said was the gel-like fluid that was inside of the cells. Where do you think that goes? Plant cells, animal cells, or both? I'm thinking both. So if that's what you said, good job. And then after this, we can check all of our answers to make sure they're all right. All right, let's go to flagella. I did not talk about flagella. Flagella is really cool. It goes on the outside of the cells, and then it's able to move to help the cell move along. So there's flagella, and there's also something called cilia that help move things on the outside of the cell. Flagella is only in animal cells. So I'm going to put that over here. Alright, so let's go. Ooh, microtubules. So when I drew it on the board, but I didn't talk about it. Microtubules are inside of the cytoplasm. They're kind of the roads for the organelles to go on. So they're the roads that allow them to go from in the cytoplasm from one place to another. Where do you think those are? They're not in both. They're actually in animal cells. So the way they divide it, it's going to allow them to have different organelles in them. Alright, I got the nucleus right here. Remember what I said about the nucleus? It was the brain of the cells, right? It's in both, right? The plant cells and the animal cells, they both have that nucleus. Alright, we're getting through it pretty well. Alright, y'all know this one. The mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Remember what I said? They are involved with cellular respiration, giving the cell energy, right? They're in animal cells a lot, but they're also in plant cells, right? While the plants of seed, they're going to be using that a lot for cellular respiration. So they'd be considered both, right? Alright, let's see if I can trick you. Cell membrane. What did I say about the cell membrane? If you remember the pictures I drew, one of them has a cell wall, but then both have a cell membrane, right? If you can remember which one is the one with both the cell wall and the cell membrane, you can go ahead and comment. But cell membrane is in both, right? And then the cell wall is, hopefully you commented by now, the cell wall is what's in the plant cell. It's what gives it its strong structure along with that. Ooh, the vacuole membrane, right? So the vacuole membrane is the kind of the skin of the membrane. It's the big balloon. It's literally the part that fills up the membrane part. So whenever all that water, all that fluid and stuff's being pushed into there, it's going to start to expand. That membrane is going to expand. That's in the plant cells. All right. Lysosome. We talked about that for a short minute. I said the lysosome is what helps break down the stuff. It takes in all the old organelles that aren't working that well because they're kind of old. They're not really young. And then it also takes in old viruses and bacteria. I said it. Where was it, guys? What do you think? I'm going to say animal cells. All right. Ribosomes. Ribosomes have a lot of functions. They have a lot of jobs to do inside the cell. Ribosomes, they add bonds to the nucleic bases, right? Nitrogenous bases to allow them to form into proteins, right? They're in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is in both. So they are also in both. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. That's the part that's adding the peptide bonds to the structures, right? To form the proteins. So the rough is also in both. It's involved in all that information leaving the nucleus to go out of the cell, right? To go into that cytoplasm out of the cell. Large central vacuole. Remember what I said about that one with the balloon? What do you think it is? I know you know this one. Where is it going to go? Both animal or plant? I'm going to say both, right? That's what fills up the water. So whenever you water your plants, it makes them get all nice and strong. Ooh, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. What about that one? That's involved in the process of all that information leaving the nucleus, right? That would be both again. Okay. So nucleolus. That's where all that information is stored, right? Inside the nucleus. So the nucleus is the brain. It's involved with telling everything in the cell what to do. But then the nucleolus is inside of that. And that's where all that genetic information is stored. That's where all that important DNA is, all those chromosomes that tell it what it is, right? So that's going to be in both. It's in both plant and animal cells. Chloroplasts. What do you think about this one? What is a chloroplast? Chloroplasts are involved in photosynthesis. They make sugar, right? They use sunlight and water to make sugar. They also produce oxygen. What produces oxygen? Plants, right? Plants have chloroplasts in them. So we got two more, we're almost done. Ooh, centrioles. So centrioles are pretty important. They are involved in, me describing it, I guess I'm going to have to give away the answer. They're involved in animal cells in their cell division, right? They're going to take the genetic information and pull it apart from each other so that they can separate and then replicate it, right? So they're pulling it apart so that they can be sent away from one another so they can be replicated into a whole other cell. So those are in the animal cells. And these are actually they're made out of microtubules, which are the roads for the organelles in the animal cells, right? Cell wall, we talked about it. Remember with the Turgor pressure of the balloon in the cardboard box? So the cell wall is what gives the structure along with the large central vacuole to produce the strong structure of the plants, right? Hopefully I didn't get one wrong. That'd be bad, right? But let's go ahead and see if we're right. Uh-oh, I got one wrong. The mitochondria. Uh-oh. So mitochondria are involved with cellular respiration with the plant cells. They are, but they aren't as much as the animal cells just because whenever the chloroplasts get involved, that's when they start rearing up into high gear, and the mitochondria kind of are left in the dust. But whenever they are seeds, they still need to be using cellular respiration, right? They still need to grow and divide in order to build the chloroplast, and in order to grow those leaves, right? So I'm thinking it's going to say it's in the animal cell, and then let's check it out. I think this might be messed up because let's see. Yeah, that's messed up. They're definitely in both, guys. So the mitochondria are definitely in both the plant and animal cells, but it's only saying it's in the plant cell, which is not true because they're definitely in the animal cells, or else we would not have energy, right? I would be asleep, probably not even here right now if I didn't have mitochondria. So that was a little game we could play. Something you can do is you can go at home and look at the differences between cells in plants and animal cells. You could even draw your own animal cells or plant cells, right? Make it kind of weird, do different colors, and kind of learn all about the cells, which is pretty fun. So I hope you enjoyed the little game we did, the little mini lesson beforehand. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay with us and we will get back with y'all for more videos in the coming up future. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.